Hey everyone, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. In this video, we're going to take our first look at the camera G5 Dome. Ubiquiti did send this to me for review, but they did not pay me, and all of this is my own thoughts. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a closer look at the G5 Dome, see what comes in the box, and then I'm going to get it hooked up onto a pole in my driveway. I'm also going to hook up a G4 Dome so that we could do a comparison. If you'd like to support my channel, the best way to do so is to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. If you'd like to hire me for network consulting, visit mactelecomnetworks.com. And I do have affiliate links in the description below. And this is the camera G5, which you could tell right off the bat that it comes in different packaging. It comes in this gray color, which I don't mind. Now let's see what's inside the box. Right on the top of the box comes the dome cover, which they've actually separated and put it in its own packaging, which is nice. They didn't do this for the G4 Dome. And they've also put this plastic over top of the G5 Dome. So when we go to deploy this outside, we need to make sure that we put this dome cover over top of the lens. In the box, we also get a mounting template, which is a sticker, and it has this little level on top of it. We have our rubber grommet. And then we have our screws and anchors. They also give us the bracket and a drop ceiling bracket. For the network interface, it's only 100 megabits per second. On the G4 Dome, it was 1 gigabit. We don't need 1 gigabit speeds for this camera, so 100 will be just fine. With the G4 Dome and the G5 Dome, they both have the same 5 megapixel CMOS sensor. The G5 Dome does 30 frames per second right out of the box, whereas the G4 Dome only does 24. You can turn high frame rate mode on the G4 Dome at least. I'm not too sure about this until we get into the controller. They both have the same IPX rating and the Vandal rating, and they both come with a microphone, and we're going to test them out and see if their night vision is the same and how well the microphone works on this one. Now I need to get the G5 mounted, and we'll get a G4 mounted, and then we'll do some comparisons. Okay, I've now hooked up the G4 and the G5 Dome to this pole that's in my driveway. And this is what we're going to be using to test. Now let's take a look at some of the options that come with the G5 Dome. So if we go under our recording mode, we have the same options as our G4 or any other camera. We have our recording modes, and then we have a schedule if we'd like to apply that. We also have the detections that we'd like to record, which I'll just have it on motion and smart detections. We have the detection recording settings, and then we have the recording quality. So under the recording quality, under the G4 Domes, we could put on high frame rate mode, which I believe bumps it up to 48 frames per second. Under the G5 camera, we don't have that option. So the max frame per second is 30 frames. You would see on the G4 Dome that we do have that high frame rate mode. I could turn this on, and I will right now, and it should double the frames per second. And as you can see here, it's showing 48 frames per second. But for this testing, I'm going to turn that off and have it on default. Now these other settings are exactly the same. We have the camera name, we have a device group, we have the microphone, we have infrared. We could have it disabled if we'd like. It shows always disabled. I'm going to have it set to auto. Under camera, we have the status sound, and then we have the status light, and we have the share live stream link. We also have overlay information and that advanced if we want to unadopt this from our Protect controller. Now looking at these cameras side by side, on the left we have our G5 Dome, and on the right we have the G4 Dome. You could tell that the G5 Dome has a wider angle. If we go look at the G5 Dome specs, we could click on it, and then we could see the view angle. It's 102.4 by 71.4 by 134.3. And if we go look at the G4 Dome, it should show us the same thing. So the view angle is 102.4 by 71.4 by 134.3. Also, without changing any settings, I do like the color better on the G5 Dome. I think it looks a lot more crisp. Now I did an audio test for the G5 and the G4, so we're going to go back and forth with that. So let's take a listen. Mic test 1 2, 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 mic test 1 2. And from that, you could hear that the G4 Dome does have a better microphone in it. So if you are looking to capture audio, that is something to consider. Next, we need to wait until it goes to nighttime so we could test out the night vision, and we'll also turn the infrared off to see how it works in low light. And this is going to be our test for the night vision. This is the G4 Dome, and it does look pretty good. But once we get to the G5 Dome, you can see that it's a little bit brighter. They both have 2 IR sensors in them. And now we're looking at the low light test. I did turn the infrared off. On the G4 Dome, it's a little bit grainy. On the G5 Dome, I do like the color a lot more. There is a little bit of ghosting around my face, as you could tell. And that's going to be it for this video on the Unifi G5 Dome camera. And do I think it's better than the G4 Dome? I do. I did like the infrared better. The low light, in my opinion, looked better. The only thing that I think was worse was the microphone on the G5 Dome, which isn't a deal breaker for me because I don't use it. As seeing as the G5 and the G4 Dome are the exact same price, why not go with the newer model? If you have a G5 Dome, let me know in the comments what you think about it. In upcoming videos, we're going to be taking a look at the NetAlley AirCheck G3, which is a Wi-Fi testing tool, and it does heat map scans. We'll also be looking at Unifi Connect and Synology BC500 camera. So if you're interested in those videos and you aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. All right, thanks.